Example 2. Use Newton's method to find the sixth root of 2 correct to 8 decimal places. Okay, so the first thing is we want to rewrite this in terms of an equation. So we're going to let x equal the sixth root of 2. Okay, and so in order for us to rewrite this into an equation, we're going to take and raise both sides to the 6th power. So we end up getting x to the 6th, which is equal to 2. Now if we subtract 2 to both sides, we get x to the 6th minus 2, which is equal to 0. So now what it's telling us is that the function that we're dealing with is f of x, which is equal to x to the 6th minus 2. Okay, and now we want to be able to find the derivative of this function. So the derivative of this function is going to equal 6x to the 5th power. Okay, so now we're going to use the formula for x subscript n plus 1. So what we're going to do is, in step number 4, we have x subscript n plus 1, and that's going to equal x subscript n minus, well, f of x subscript n is going to be x subscript n to the 6th minus 2 in the numerator. In the denominator, we have 6x subscript n to the 5th power. Okay, so what is the initial approximation? Well, we got to make sure that we define an initial approximation. So the initial approximation is x subscript 1, which is equal to 1. Okay, so when we let n and set that equal to 1, then we know that that's going to be x subscript 2, which is going to equal x subscript 1 minus x subscript 1 to the 6th power minus 2 over 6 times x subscript 1 to the 5th power. Okay, so let's go ahead and put in our values. So we know that we have 1 minus 1 to the 6th power minus 2 over 6 times 1 to the 5th power. And that gives us approximately 1.16666. Okay, and then we're going to round that. So by rounding that, we're going to round it to 1.1666667. And the reason why we round that is because it's asking us to round it to 8 decimal places. So this is correct to 8 decimal places. Okay, now in step number 7, okay, if we let n equals 2 now, so now we're looking for x subscript 3. That means we're looking for x subscript 2 minus x subscript 2 to the 6th power minus 2 over 6 times x subscript 2 to the 5th power, which is going to equal the following. So whatever we found for x subscript 2, we're going to take that value, right, and then we're going to subtract it, and then again we're going to take that value and then raise it to the 6th power and then subtract 2, divided by 6 times again that value to the 5th power. Okay, so at this point we can use a calculator. Now if we use Desmos, unfortunately it doesn't go all the way to 8 decimal places when we make a table. So I'm going to show you how to use the TI84 calculator in addition to another calculator that you can find online. So let me show you how to use the TI84 calculator. Okay, when using the TI84 calculator, okay, the first thing you want to do, okay, is we're going to put in the function and its derivative. So we're going to go to y equals, and in the y equals section, we're going to put in the function x to the 6th. So x up arrow to the 6th, and then that's going to be minus 2. Okay, so that's going to represent the numerator here. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put in the second derivative right below it, which is going to be 6. Click this for the x value, raise that to the 5th power, and therefore there is our second. So this is y1 and this is y2. Okay, now we're going to go to the second clear. So we're going to start with our, second quit. We're going to go to this part here, and what we're going to do is we're going to put in our value. Okay, so let's start with the first one. Okay, so the first one, just so that we can verify, we had 1. So we're going to put in 1 and then just hit enter, because this is going to represent the answer that's stored now for 1. So I'm going to select second and then down here answer, and then I'm going to subtract. So I'm going to subtract, and then what I'm going to do, and let me write this out. So basically what's going to happen is in my TI84 calculator, this is what I'm going to enter. Okay, in the TI84. Okay, I'm going to put in the value of 1, which is going to be our answer, and then I'm going to subtract, okay, the y1 function that has an input of our answer, and then divided by the y2 function, which is going to have our answer as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So we have answer, and then we're going to subtract, and then in order for us to get to the y1, we're going to select vars, and then we're going to go to the right here where it says y vars, and then it says function. So we're going to hit enter, and you're going to select the very first one, because that represents x to the 6 minus 2. So we're going to hit enter, and then you're going to put in parentheses the input, which is the answer that we have that is stored, which is the 1. And then we're going to have divided by, and then now we're going to go to vars again and go to y2, which is the derivative function, which would be in a denominator. So we're going to go to y vars, hit the function, and then go to y2. And then we're going to go ahead and put in parentheses and put in our stored answer. And then press enter. And as you can see, we get the same answer here. Okay? So now what we want to do is we want to do the next one, which is for when n is equal to 2. So now we want to store this. X2 is going to be 1.1666667 because you want to round it to 8 decimal places. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to hit second, answer again. We're going to hit subtract. We're going to go to vars again, go to y vars, hit the function key, hit y1, and then put in the stored answer. Okay, and then divided by, go ahead to vars again. We're going to go to the function, and then go to y2, and then go ahead and put in the parentheses, the stored answer, and then we're going to hit enter. And so therefore, then we get the following result. Okay, so we're going to round that to 8 decimal places. Okay, so rounding that to 8 decimal places, we have 1.126443678. Okay, and let's just keep writing the formula down so we know what this should represent. So then x4, when n is equal to 3, so that means we're going to get x4, which is going to equal x2 minus, not x2, that should be x3 minus x3 to the 6th power minus 2 over 6x3 to the 5th power. Okay, so again, we're going to go to our calculator. Okay, and at this point here, we're going to go ahead and store the answer. So second answer minus vars, go to your right, select the function, and select y1, and then parentheses, put in the answer as your input, and then divided by, go to vars again, y vars, go to the function, and now we're going to y2, and then again put the input, second answer, parentheses, and then therefore there is our next result, which is 1.122497067. So therefore there is our result. Now let's go to 4, and let's go to 5, and then let's go to 6. So let's try it when n is equal to 4. So when n is equal to 4, we get x5, which is going to equal x4 minus x4 to the 6th minus 2 over 6x4 to the 5th. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that again. So now we're going to store this answer. So second answer minus vars, go to y vars, hit the function, select the y1, and then parentheses with your answer as the input, and then divided by vars, and then we're going to go to function and go to y2, and then parentheses with your answer. Okay, and therefore we get the next value, which is given as 1.12246,205, because we're rounding out to 8 decimal places. Okay, and now let's go to when n is equal to 5, and let's see what happens there. So we get x6, which is equal to x5 minus x5 to the 6th minus 2 over 6x to the 5 to the 5th power. Okay, now let's see what happens here. Okay, so again, second answer minus vars. We go to y1, and then put in parentheses, second answer, and then divided by vars, and we're going to go to y2, put in parentheses as our input, second answer, and then hit enter. Okay, now if you notice, if we round this to 5 decimal places, it's going to give us the same result. It's going to give us 1.12246,205. So that's going to give us 1.12246,205. Okay, so what does this tell us? Well, as you can see here, okay, since x5 and x6 agree to 8 decimal places, we conclude to 8 decimal places. That means that if you look at these two, this tells us that the approximation to 8 decimal places, which is the 6th root of 2, is now going to equal 1.2246205, and therefore that is our result. Okay, now let's say that you don't have a TI84 and you want to be able to use a calculator. Well, let me show you another place where you can do this. Now again, as I stated before, on Desmos, it only goes to 7 decimal places, so it doesn't go any further than that in the table. So if you have a question that's asking you for 8 decimal places, then your calculator is going to work for you here, or the TI84 or 83. Okay, so the website I'm referring to is called casio.com. Okay, now if you go to that website, I'm going to show you here at that website. So when you get to this website, there's a lot of calculators in here. So what you want to do is you scroll all the way down here. You see where it says utility, because it gives you a data analysis. You're going to select utility, and then from here you're going to select functions table with 1 variable. Okay, so then what you're going to do here is you just X out this column, okay, and you're going to put in the function. So the function is x minus parentheses, okay, it's going to be x up arrow to the 6th minus 2, and then we're going to divide that by parentheses 6x to the 5th, which is an up arrow to the 5th, and then with your parentheses. And so what you're going to do is you're going to put the first value in for x, which is the initial approximation. So you're going to hit 1 and then select execute. Okay, and now it's going to give you that value here. And then what you're going to have to do is then you're going to have to add another table. So here you put in 1, okay, and now you're going to put into 8 decimal places 1.1666666, and then 7, and then hit enter. Okay, and then you're going to hit execute. Okay, now when you hit execute, now you're going to get the second particular value that we got. So now what we're going to do is once you get to the end here, hit enter, and now you're going to put this in. So now 1.126443678, okay, and then hit enter. Okay, then you hit execute, and now it's going to give you the next number. Okay, then you're going to come back up here at the very end, select enter, and now put in this number here, which is 1.122497067. Okay, and then press enter, select execute, and now the fourth one now gives us this value. So now we're going to go down here and put in 1.122462205 because we rounded that to 8 decimal places. So hit enter and then select execute, and now that gives us the 6th option here, which again is going to give us the same value of 1.122462205. And therefore, those are our values that we got that were similar to what we got there. So let me go ahead and copy this. So you can compare it to our results. Okay, so therefore, there you have our 1.167, 1.2644678, then we have 1.22497067, 1.22462205, and 1.122462205. So again, you can either use that calculator to make your table or use the TI84.